Live, Levinson. You're live. You're on the air. Today it is Coffee Talk, ADIKA Live. You're live. It is that type of day we're having. Corey's going crazy. We're about a minute before the show time. 7 a.m. is what we normally go on, Pacific Standard Time, but you get 1 minute early of us. You give us 30 minutes, we give you the world. Today, I have Corey Levinson, my co-host with me. Welcome, Corey.
Hey.
Getting upset with me, but we're going to talk trending news, all that good stuff. But before we get started, Corey Levinson, you know something? We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, wherever you could find your favorite podcast. If you go into the links of the description, you can click on it. So not only are you on YouTube, Corey, the voice of Levinson can be everywhere, in the car, in the gym, in your bedroom. You want to romance your woman, your husband, put Levinson on to really set the mood. But before
that's my wife's nightmare.
That's what we're getting on. And then we have a good friend of mine has a book out, book of top 10 horror films. Do you know who that is, Corey?
A good friend of yours, huh?
Good friend of mine.
Good friend of yours.
Yeah, that's right. Charles.
I bring all these people to you, and then you say, "Do you know him, Levitan?
Do you know
Charles,
him?"
I met Charles Rosenay when I was 15 years old when I first got in touch with Charles.
Hold on. What is Charles? Tell the audience a little bit before we start the show. What's Charles do?
Charles is the organizer of right now trips to Liverpool for Beatles fans. He does a convention that was COVID put a temporary stop to it in New Haven, Connecticut. The name escapes me, but it's a Beatles convention. And he is the former publisher of Good Day Sunshine magazine, which is how I met him. And now when I went to the Lennon Vigil in 1980, I took all these slides. I had my friend's father's camera, and it was a slide film camera. And so I took all these slides. Oh, no, that's not the story. I just took regular shots and then I had them converted. But he needed slides.
Slides.
Yeah. And he showed them at his convention.
Is there an ending to this story?
There's no ending to it.
All right. Okay.
I didn't know I was going to see Charles. I've seen Charles throughout the years.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Is he a good guest for me to bring on? Because you don't like a lot of the guests I bring on. Is Charles okay?
Yeah, Charles is fine. And even
it's Coffee Talk with ADIKA. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. We're Stephen and all his friends.
Good morning, everybody. Corey Levinson, ADIKA, the show has started. Good to see you, Levinson. This is turning so professional. I have merch on. I got a beautiful shirt on. So if you're looking for some good, the pecs look good. If you women want to turn on your husbands, a little.
Is that what makes us professional?
Yeah. We got merch. We're on podcasts.
You're wearing your own shirt.
You know what? I times are tough, Levinson. I got 20 fans. No money in the bank, and that's why if you give me a super chat today, I will pop your name on the screen. I will tell you you're my best friend. So super chats are welcome. Love me, hug me. I'm ADIKA, no job, but I'm here to entertain you for free. But I'll take your nickels and coins if it'll help out me and help out my friends. Build the ships. Subscribe, share it out. That's all I got to say. Subscribe and share. Join the podcast, ADIKA Live, artist on record also. That's right. We're going through some changes, Levinson.
All right.
Some name changes. The Coffee Talk's going to end the name, and we're going to do a different name. It's going to be a playlist Coffee Talk, but I need your help, Corey. You're a writer.
I told you, Trust ADIKA is the name it should be.
And let's ask the people. Let them vote what they think the name should be. But I think you might be right. I like Trust ADIKA. So today, people in the audience, let's say hello to everybody. I see Debbie Muller's there. Darnell's there. Renee is here. It's good to see all the ladies here. Wonderful morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I see Dr. G. They're asking, where's Dr. G? Well, Dr. G, he's not doing so well. He doesn't feel good. He has a little cold. I guess we could address it on the air. You know?
Yeah, he said it last time that they had COVID.
They have COVID.
It was brought to their house by a guest who they trusted, and they shouldn't have.
Yeah. So, Hi Tickle Pink, Teresa, all the ladies are here. Good to see you guys and ladies. And Ashley Alexander, you have fans. The lovely Ashley Alexander. Yes, it is a man. Ashley Alexander, our friend from the other side. But we have fans. But yay, Dr. G. He takes his vitamins. He does everything, the protocol, but this thing is hard to beat. Now, Miranda did say she doesn't even like. She did say if he didn't take all the stuff and have his vax and all that stuff, who knows how hard it would have hit him, because it hit him pretty hard too.
He didn't say who it. They didn't. Neither of them said who it was. I bet it was a patient, and they can't mention patients because of HIPAA laws. So I bet that's what happened. A patient came in, said that they were negative. You know, they hand you this piece of paper saying no symptoms, and then they did a whole whatever with the person, and then he gave them COVID. I bet you
Yeah.
that's what happened.
I'm not sure.
Scumbag.
Dr. G, he's taking it like a man. I mean, people wonder where's Dr. G? What did Stefan get? Because I'm notorious to have a host and then they leave and you never see them again. No, he's not in the trunk in the car. He's all right, Dr. G. But everybody giving positive thoughts, love and prayers, and all that good stuff. And if you guys need anything, go check their website, middlepathmedicine.com. You check out their newsletters and all that good stuff. But it happens, and I guess this happening to Dr. G now, when he comes on the show, he'll ramble on more and talk about the thing, because we really can't say, because I don't know what to say anymore.
That's your Michigas. I don't think that's correct.
Well,
you believe
listen,
in urban myths.
Levinton, let me tell you something. I need this channel to grow. I can't live in a tent. Please.
You listen to idiots who get on YouTube and say,
No.
this is the rule of the algorithm. You can't do this. But you'll never know because the algorithm is a proprietary thing. And that's the problem with it. And that's the problem with Facebook's algorithm. And that's why Facebook is destroying
Levinton,
democracy.
I don't trust. You'll talk to any villain on the internet. So there it is. Stop. Hold on. Thank you for helping me breathe. Darnell, thank you for the super chat. Get well, Dr. G. Hello, Stefan and Corey. Debbie,
Danielle.
Jenny, Darnell, not Debbie.
Danielle.
Say
it after me. Danielle.
I want to say it my way, because you know what? It turns around the way I say her name. Darnell. Hey, Darnell. Like this, like listen to radio voice, because we're on a podcast now, so you guys can listen to us in the shower. Hey, Darnell, how you doing? Huh? Oh yeah, Darnell. Yeah, that's right. You get a lot for that $5. Well, that's whatever that is. To me, I'll say $5. Brooklynese, but it's probably like 50 cents. But hey, Darnell, thank you very much. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. The voice of ADIKA in the shower, in the bedroom. Yeah. Don't tell your husband. Okay. So it's worth the super chat. Okay. So anyway, a lot of crazy stuff, Levinton, in the world. Trending news. I just started reading the news. I never used to care, but since we have a show, we got to tell the people what's going on. Astroworld Festival in Texas.
Yeah.
Friday night. It left 8 people dead, 300 people injured. Live Nation is under a lot of heat. Live Nation is they run these concerts, the promoters. They're doing the Kiss concert as well. They do all major acts. There was an act, I guess Drake was on the show too. I just found out. Travis Scott, who's married to one of the Kardashians. He's a rapper. Don't ask me his music. I'm 54. I don't know. Do you know?
This is the millennial who at Cincinnati is what it is.
Yeah, I guess so.
And whatever the individual situation is to this, it's the same problem in that the number of security there were not enough to handle a crowd that size because people were cutting costs. That's always the answer to these kind of situations. It's horrible. You can't have horrible. 7 people handling a crowd of 10,000 people rushing forward.
I mean, you have this festival. People are going to a festival Friday in Texas. They're having a good time. But supposedly some chaos happened. The crowd started rushing through the stage. And from what I read, I wasn't there, and I'm just putting it all together because TMZ has all the footage on there, but it's hard to really watch. But they started running. Now, if you're stuck in the crowd, supposedly some of the people that were in the crowd, if you had your hands in the air, it was so tight, you couldn't bring your hands back. If you fell on the floor, you couldn't get up, and they trampled people. So people were trampled in the ground. That's how heavy it was. That TMZ put on there. Some people that died and they were unidentified. They put one of the photos of the deceased on the website for the family to find out. But there was the youngest person that did die over there so far was a 14-year-old boy, which is very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. And even seeing some 23-year-old, it's like you start worrying like us, our kids going to a concert. This is crazy. Now, just came out that there was somebody out there doing it, and they had a syringe and injecting people in the neck, and I think one of the workers got injected, made him pass out. So was that the cause of the chaos and people running through the stage? I don't know. Then they're blaming the act for not stopping it, that he couldn't see what was going on, because you could see what's going on when you're on a stage in the middle of a crowd. You could see chaos. What do you think?
That's the Altamont argument. What was Mick Jagger supposed to do when that guy stabbed when the Hells Angels stabbed that guy?
That's right. That's right. People remember that. Yeah, that's right. But that's what's going on. It's a pretty heavy. It's a heavy story. But there's going to be a heavy lawsuit. They're saying it wasn't prepared right before even the concert. There was situation.
Of course.
Yeah. So
right.
Is that because people aren't working? That people, just they can't hire people nowadays?
Well, no. I mean, concert companies, promoters are hurting really, really badly. They've just gone almost 2 years with absolutely no support except government assistance. They're basically all on welfare. And so when this is finally opening up, they're looking for ways to cut costs. And one of them was apparently concert blockades. I hate to say it, but rap concerts are a little different. They require more security.
Well,
they require more security than say a Barbra Streisand concert or whatever. So you have to spend the money on that.
The Astro World, they were using promotional video, using old clips of hyping chaos. So now they're going to use, so they're going to use that. And now we're living in a world that's so, you can't say maybe ice cream. I don't know what words you can't say, but back, I remember when I'd go to concerts, you hear people, let's tear the roof down on this place or whatever, to hype up the crowd. I bet you that's going to come to an end, that language.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
I don't know.
You look like, it's a whole nother era, but let's go back to a time when music was wonderful and think about the 60s and all that good stuff. You know who you remind me of today? You look very Davy Jones.
Oh, actually, that's a compliment. I think that he was a really tremendous looking short man.
Yeah, you remind me of him. I remember bumping into Davy Jones in Ventura, in Sherman Oaks. There was a little oyster house place, and there was he was having like a beer or something with some guy. It was like a small place.
I ran into him too on an airplane in 1988. He was just the nicest guy. Yeah. I said he was just having his little lunch by himself at the airport thing, and I said, "Hey, Davey, it's just really nice to meet you." And I said, "I really always wanted to say how much I loved your music, blah blah blah." And he goes, "Hey, come on, mate, sit down." And so I sat down with him and I had lunch with him. It was so awesome. Such a nice guy.
Wonderful. Now we're going to bring on a guest. Everybody. He has a book. The guy, I believe, and I could be wrong. I think Charles. Did he ever play a Paul McCartney ever?
No, I that was that was a notion that I had. I planted it in your head, and then he said, "No, I never did."
So that was your. Wait a second, Levington. So you actually made a rumor up, and I'm thinking this whole time because Charles has a McCartney.
He looks like Paul a little.
He looks like Paul, right? So you made up lies in my head, and
I made up lies. Yeah, nothing I say is factual. You should know that.
I probably would not have had him on the show because I'm just looking for guys who played Paul McCartney.
Should we tell him that we asked Mitch Weissman first?
I was gonna have. Well, I did ask Mitch Weissman to come on today. Mitch didn't come on because it wasn't because of the late notice. His lady is sleeping and he doesn't want to wake her up and he's being very quiet. So Mitch is very miserable right now. And he asked me about Wednesday. Well, I don't know, Mitch, about Wednesday. You blew up today. Now you got to beg for another day. So we'll make Mitch Weissman beg. Who would ever think I'd make Mitch Weissman, the face of Beatlemania, beg to come on my show? I love
Charles just disconnected.
I just love it. I love making him beg. Let's make Mitch beg. But Charles also, I want to ask him about his Beatles stuff. A lot of things. He's a great guy, and he's been busting my chops to come on the show. And
I want to ask him what he thinks of the Let It Be.
We're going to talk to Charles about everything. We're going to talk to him. But look what he has. Mm-hmm. He has also. I'm a big fan of horror films, so he has a book out right now. The book of top 10 horror list. Now I didn't know he has a nickname, the Crypt Master Chucky. Did you know that about him? Not only is he McCartney, he's the Crypt Master Chucky. But his book, you can check it out. Links will be in the description below. I'll post that all there. Let's talk to him about this. Are you a monster guy, Levington, or what?
Oh no, not at all. I like psychological horror, not really? When you see the monster.
Really,
I like The Shining or the others when it's in your own head.
I mean, the book on the cover, if you look at it, he has Lon Chaney Senior, Phantom of the Opera, his Creature of the Black Lagoon, the famous King Kong with Fay
Yep.
Wray right there, Janet Leigh from Psycho, Linda Blair, Exorcist. Now, I don't know who that is in green with the glasses. I forget who that is. He has Boris.
Looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I don't know who that is. I got to find out. He has Boris Karloff as the mummy. Then he has It. It is the clown from It is very frightening. I never watched the whole movie of that, but we're going to bring Charles up here and talk to him about his book. Welcome, Charles, over here. Come on up to let's bring him a proper intro. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is.
Charles
Top 10.
F. Rosenay.
The crowd is going wild, Charles.
I have so much.
Paul McCartney.
No, but I played Davy in Monkey Mania. I swear it's true. I was Davy with the maracas and the tambourine. Oh, I could hide. I actually trained in a Monkees tribute band.
Welcome, Charles, to the audience. The audience loves you. Welcome to the show and all that good. So welcome to the audience. Welcome to the show, Charles. So you're not Paul McCartney. Can you address the rumors? What's going on with this?
Corey, with all the drugs through the years, he came up with this new thing. He associates me with Beatles, with Mitch Weissman. So, I used to look like him. I was in so many pictures with Paul. I get it. I always wanted to be one of the McCartneys in Beatlemania. So he made it happen. He willed it to be so.
I made it happen.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Now, I got to ask you on the cover, because I didn't know who that was on the cover. So who is this with the glasses? Who is that?
The famous George Romero.
That's right.
Who did all the Night of the Living Dead movies. That was one I wanted to put in because most of the others are the actual actors. And I wanted to put in one icon since the others are all, the Lon Chaneys and the Boris Karloffs and the Bela Lugosi's and, all the real classic Universals. I wanted to throw in at least a few more modern ones. It's not so modern. It was George Romero and Pennywise from It.
So let me ask you. So the book, tell the audience what the book is about. If they could purchase this book, what really quick?
Yeah, so it's not just a horror book. You don't have to just be into horror to like it, and not psychological horror or any horror. It's 100 celebrities gave me their top 10 favorite horror lists. People like William Shatner, Ruth Buzzy, Ed Asner. It's just like pop culture people. And I'd been working on this for, like 12 years, never thinking that I would do a book, but compiling these lists because I used to have an online horror chat thing called National Horror Happenings. And once a month I'd put up a list, whoever it was who would give me a list, I would put it up. But it really grew. I mean, I got like 5 rock and roll Hall of Famers. I got a baseball Hall of Famer. And I thought during COVID, I'm sitting around, I'm not DJing. I'm not out doing Paul McCartney as Beatlemania. I'm not producing the conventions. I'm not doing the tours. I'm not doing anything I do. I'm going nuts. And I'm thinking, wait, I've got about 80 of these lists. People always said, when are you going to, put out a book? Didn't put out the Beatles book. Didn't put out my memoirs book. I put out this horror book. I needed 20 more lists. Everyone else was home. So it was easy to get the last 20 lists. And it took about, a year to come out, and it just came out, and I'm so excited about it. It's just, getting great reviews on Amazon, and the people are just loving all these goofy pop culture people.
Hold that book up for the people to see that book over there, Charles. Look at that. So you got the book of top 10 horror list right there. So I got to ask you really quick. I see there's a connection with this book and Beatle world, okay?
Yeah.
So what's the connection? Because Corey is very curious. Is there any Paul McCartney lookalikes in that book, or is it real people connected to the real Beatles?
Good question. So how could I not do any book in the world and not have Beatle connections? Of the 100 celebrities, 9 of them are Beatle-related. Yeah, Beatle-related celebrities, Beatle-related notables. So almost a tenth of the book is Beatles. Pete Best, Gary Von Syock.
Wait, stop. That's Pete Best. The original drummer from the Beatles, before Ringo started. They threw him out of the band. They got Ringo in the band because he wasn't good enough, supposedly. You got him in your book.
He's got a top 10 list in the book. Great list.
What, Corey Leviton, I need to know what Pete Best.
We got to look, right?
I got to look. This, Corey, you don't want to know what Pete Best's scary movies that his.
First,
not my top question. I would ask Pete Best. Actually, Ashley Alexander.
Oh, look at that! Hold that up. Let me put this up to the people. Look at that.
That's Pete with my daughter,
Uh-huh.
and pee with my son, but this was many years ago because my son's now 16 and my daughter's 23.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But I
That's
want you to
great.
pop that in the book. I'll give you his top 10 list at the risk of losing all the Pete Best fans who would have bought the book. The Omen, number 1, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Amityville Horror, The Shining, Blair Witch Project,
Really
good
House
one.
on Haunted Hill, Poltergeist, and he writes, and of course, going back to the day, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman.
Wow.
Not
Now,
bad, right?
Blair Witch for me was really fantastic because it had exactly what I like, which is they didn't show the monster, so it's all in your head. I love that. That scares the crap out of me.
It was almost like one of the first reality type
Yeah.
homemade when it
Found footage, yeah.
yeah.
And that got people going because it had a great press campaign of the footage came out in bits and pieces before the film to the point that people thought this was the real thing. I mean, this was War of the Worlds-ish. People actually thought so.
I
100%.
thought it might have been because I saw it a month before it came out. They were really smart the way they did this. They had a press screening. They didn't tell us what it was. They didn't because so we couldn't look it up online. They just said this is a film. Just watch the film and then tell us what you think. And so I went to this screening room in one of the Fox lot or whatever, and I'm watching it with a bunch of movie critics. Some of them are laughing. They're going bullshit, and then some like me are going, is this true? Is this true? I got scared. I really did. We didn't know what it was.
No,
Well, whoever just wrote Corey is the monster, he can only be the monster from Leviathan.
Yeah.
Because that's as close as we can get from Leviathan to Leviathan.
look at Steve. When I was young, I saw the House on Haunted Hill. I thought that was, Steve, I got to tell you, I thought that was very scary at the time. The House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, that
Genius movie. Oh,
great movie. My list would be hard. Like Laura G's popping up here. Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, great.
Yep.
But Laura G, I got Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
That's
That's the number one.
Best horror comedy of all time.
It really is, because they put them all together. Now, so you got Pete Best, which is wow. Who else is in the book? What other celebrities you got in? From the Beatle world first.
There's 9 Beatle chapters because I'm a big Monkee fan too. There's 9 Monkee related chapters. Micky Dolenz, Christian Nesmith, Gary Puckett, who toured with them.
Gary Puckett, who in the Union Gap.
Great guy. Really beautiful person.
Wow.
Yeah, great person. He's been there for me for everything I've done, and
I love him. I'm a big fan of him.
Gave a great list. It's really funny because early on, or actually with the last 20, I was sending out samples of other people's lists so people would make it easier for them, and I scared some people off because I gave these really intense lists where people, it's not just the list. I want their comments, why they picked it. It makes it much more interesting. And I was sending out a few lists from people who I think you may know. Eddie Deason, who was in I Want to Hold Your Hand,
and Grease,
1964, and was Eugene in Grease. He gave me a great list.
He was just in TMZ. He was going after people or something.
He went a little nuts, so I don't know what happened.
Barry Pearl's a friend of the show who played Duty in Grease. So yeah, that's a wild connection right there. So what's his top?
Well, but I sent out his list to people because it was so well written, and I thought, well, this will give people an idea. And I think I scared some people off, and they said, well, I'll have to pass because his list was so great and so well written. And you talk about well written things. The best, probably the most articulate, the most brilliant chapter in the book is John Lennon's sister, Julia Baird, said, I don't like horror movies. I can't do this for you, Charles. I want to be part of your book. I want to support you. But what do? I go, I don't know. Come up with something. So give me a week or two. Let me think about it. I get an email with this collegiate thesis. You wouldn't believe she did the horror aspects of Shakespeare's works. It blew my mind. So her chapter in this book is the largest chapter in the book, and it's like really literal. It's this literary genius thing on Shakespeare's horror things. The other person who said I don't like horror movies, I can't do any monster list for you, was Boris Karloff's daughter, Sara Karloff.
No way.
She hates horror movies. She said, I can't even watch my dad's movies. She said, all right, I'll come up with something. Again, these people are sweethearts. They want to be part of the book. They wanted to be nice to me. She came up with the 10 things that scared her. And number 10 was having to do this list for your book.
No way.
Yeah.
Now it's Bela Lugosi's granddaughter. Did you reach out to anybody to the Lugosi camp?
Yeah. So Bela Lugosi's son is an attorney on the West Coast.
Okay.
His daughter, Boris Karloff Jr.'s daughter, who is, Bela Lugosi's granddaughter. Right. That's who you asked about.
Yes.
Lynn Lugosi is still around. She's great. I actually approached them about doing the forward for the book, and they passed on it, but they said if I do a sequel, perhaps.
Do the Lugosis and the Karloffs get together for picnics and stuff?
They did. They were close friends, and they also combined forces with a guy named Lon Chaney, and who's the son of Lon Chaney.
Lon Chaney Jr., right?
And they're the ones exactly who got together to help put out those commemorative stamps at one point, but also to get Universal to get it all locked in, so the merchandising actually went to the families.
The McCoys and the Hatfields, huh? You know what the funny thing? They weren't like that. You know what? There's a story about Lon Chaney Senior. Now, Gene Simmons of Kiss, he's a big. His whole character, the demon, is based on, like, if you look at him when he's spitting the blood out, he's doing the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Lon Chaney Senior. And the gong is going on. He's looking.
Wow.
Did you? Yeah, he based his character on that and a lot of the old horror films. But there's a story, and on Hollywood and Vine, and supposedly back in the day, Lon Chaney Senior, when he was driving to the studio, who was Lon Chaney Jr.'s father, for people who don't know, the original Phantom of the Opera, Man of a Thousand Faces. He's right there on the book, right there. That's London After Midnight. Is that London After Midnight, the film he did?
He's on here twice, if you see.
Yeah.
And he's also right there as the Phantom.
And he did all his own makeup, which was incredible. His own makeup, Lon Chaney Senior. So supposedly he used to the I guess what the people that in the back of the film, what am I looking for the word?
Backlot?
No, not the backlot, but the extras. The extras, they would wait back in the day at the bus stop, and he would pick them up, give them rides when he was just a nice guy. Supposedly, there's a book I read, and his ghost haunts the bus stop on Hollywood and Vine, and you might see him. Ooh, Corey, why do you roll your eyes? Can't I have just like some fun with my life? Can't you have to really be the Debbie Downer? That's a good story. Levington, it's a good story. You see, Charles, look how happy Charles is.
I believe it. I want to take that bus route and see Senior.
It's just old time Hollywood. I love it, and I love the stories and Musso and Franks. It's just you think about the way the world used to be. I want to go back in time with guys with fedoras, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It just oh chick. These were great, fun films that made you oh chick great. Now Lugosi. On that time, when Lugosi was doing Frankenstein, his career was like in the tank at that time. Is that correct, Charles?
So
Lugosi didn't do Frankenstein.
No, he did Abbott and Costello. I'm sorry, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yes, Lugosi played Dracula, but he actually did play Frankenstein, Corey, in Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, which was one of those sequels. And
that's my thing that I learned today. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, but he originally turned down the role as the original Frankenstein.
Right.
Lugosi, because that was an acting to him, and Dracula was acting, and then he later on Karloff's career just took off, and Lugosi's went the opposite way, right, Charles?
Yeah. And they stayed friends, and they did a lot of films together. The Raven, the Black Hat, they did stuff together, and of course they were friends. They were really dear friends. Karloff was brilliant. I mean, he was the head of either the Screen Actors Guild or the Movie Association. He was that for many, many years. But you're right. Lugosi was taking like just about any role he could. And Boris Karloff was a lot more selective and a lot more in demand. Yeah.
I mean, one of the good ones that he did do, Karloff, was the series Thriller. That was a great one.
Thriller, yeah, very rare. Yeah.
Kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock type thing. Twilight Zone, like that.
Twilight Zone, Hitchcock, yeah. And that had all the stars. I mean, if you look back on those, your Shatners and your Cliff Robertsons, all the people who were in Twilight Zone were usually in one of those, or Outer Limits, and people forgot about Thriller. There was also Lon Chaney had one of those for a short season, that didn't. I don't even remember the name of it. Wasn't on very long. One of those episodic, where each show was its own show. Very, very similar to.
I love it. So who else do you have in the book now from?
So we got Elliot, Easton, and Greg Hawkes from the Cars.
Yeah.
Mitch
Weissman make the cut?
Mitch Weissman did not, but I'm doing a sequel. Listen to this, guys.
They're in
I'm
trouble.
doing a sequel to this called The Book of Top 10 Beatle Lists, where 100 celebrities give me their favorite Beatle lists, whether that's albums, Beatle songs, whatever. So I'm going to ask Mitch for that one. I'll get him in there. The problem with that is there's, hundreds of these guys who were great, who were in the Beatlemania groups, and I don't want to offend one by having another, but Mitch is, the cream of the crop. So
I got to ask you a question. Of the original Beatles, any of them a horror film fan? Do you know of one that was obsessed with?
Well, Ringo was in a movie called Son of Dracula with Harry Nilsson, which is a great soundtrack, but probably one of the worst movies ever made. It's just abominable. Yeah, it's not even watchable.
It wasn't good, huh?
Yeah, neither was that. Was that 200 Motels?
200 Motels is rough to watch.
It's a rough one.
You gotta go caveman if you want to watch a fun Ringo movie.
I love all the stories. I mean, Lugosi's story is such a sad story because he died in a small little place and he was alone. I guess he wasn't with his wife. He was just by himself.
I think it was a drug scenario there.
Yeah. Even Lon Chaney Jr. Another sad story ending for him too.
Yeah, he drank a lot.
They
had their own issues. They had their own demons, so to speak. Bella was apparently buried in his own in his cloak, in his Dracula
That's
cave.
right.
If that's true or not, that was the rumor.
He had a nice house above Sunset that Johnny Depp bought, but I'm pretty sure he had to give that up before he died.
It was like looked like a castle or something. Yeah, Johnny Depp did buy that house, but he ended up Lugosi died in the seedy part of Hollywood at the time. Yeah, like Normandy over there. A little apartment. I remember we drove by it. These are great actors, great stories. Even Abbott and Costello. They did everything for their country, and taxes they went broke. So back in the day they did in the Navy. Abbott and Costello in the Army. And think about their career. It's pretty sad. Luke Costello had a sad, tragic story with his son drowning in the swimming pool. Yeah. A lot of tragedy with these old time Hollywood stars, but they did make great movies for us to enjoy.
They did a good job. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein was the best. Mumy was good. Then there was, I think, Abbott and Costello Meet the Monster, Boris Karloff. There was like 3 or 4, of those horror type meetings with Abbott and Costello. But what's really fun is that Bela Lugosi's last movie, Plan 9 from Outer Space, was one of the most famous cult films.
Ed Wood, right?
He died. Bella died halfway
in the middle. Yeah,
filming of it, and so they had, I guess, the accountant or someone who was in the building just play him with just the tape from the back.
That's great.
For the rest of the film.
That's funny. That's funny. You know what? We're almost. It's the witching hour. We give you 30 minutes. We give you the world. I got Charles here. His book of top horror list. There, it's out there. I'll put the link in the description. You can check it out. Check that out. You know what? They're asking for a Charles to come back part 2. We might be able to make it happen because there's more I want to talk to Charles about. And we're going to be back Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Well, I would love to have Beatles people back when we.
Do you want to come
back?
No,
after Thanksgiving, when everybody has seen the new Get Back movie, it'd be terrific to talk about.
We can make it happen. Mitch Weissman might be able to make it Wednesday. Maybe Charles could be here Wednesday with us, and we could talk more a little bit about some Beatles stuff. What do you guys think? Huh?
Sounds great.
Yeah. Should we have Charles? Corey, should we have him come on Wednesday and we'll talk
some
more? Yeah.
Sure.
You're available Wednesday morning to come on with us?
We'll
talk more about the book. All right. So everybody, we'll be back Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with Charles and maybe with Mitch Weissman. We're going to talk about Charles, about the Beatles and Get Back and all that good stuff. But today, go check out his book of tophorrorlist.com. Even though he didn't ask me to write something, buy his book, even though I'm not in it. You like that, Corey? How obnoxious I do the Jew guilt on people. That's what I do. And I also
how I've heard some of those names, and I'm sure that's how a lot of them got in there.
That's how we do it. That's how we roll. I want to thank everybody for watching today. Thank you for the super chats. I want to thank all the loyal people for sharing this out. Kenny Boo, I see you're back in action. Thank you for being here, Kenny. Good to see you, Kenny, and thank you very much for the love and support. Debbie, everybody, Reverend Jenny, Darnell, Renee, all you guys. Ashley Alexander, thank you for helping out on Talking Wax Saturday. The guy, Ashley Alexander, can I tell you something about him? His father played with Mark Bolan from T-Rex. Did you know
Really?
that? Yes. Pretty cool, right? One of the fans of the show, our Patreon, his dad played with Mark Bolan. Pretty
Because
cool.
I
huh,
knew
Charles?
Roland Bolan when I lived in LA.
I played with Roland. He used to
Yeah.
come up and play with Glam Nation. Great, great guy. Mark Bolan,
Yeah.
T-Rex. Who's your favorite of glam rock, Charles? Who would you say your favorite is?
Bowie.
Bowie. Bowie would take it, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Levinton?
I have to agree. I told you this. I spent all last Sunday or something because I read this thing that David Bowie sings background on It's Only Rock and Roll. So I
Mhm.
spent all one night trying to hear his voice. I could not hear it. It was so obsessive.
Really? You couldn't hear
I
it?
need Zoloft
Oh my goodness. All right,
over and over.
over and over. All right, everybody. You know what? Charles will be back here. Get his book, the Book of Top 10 Horror List. I will put the link in there down below. And also, everybody, please check the Synagogue of Rock and Roll. Sunday, 12 p.m. You could watch us Talking Wax. New uploads there. And
The
also
Synagogue of Rock and Roll?
the Synagogue of Rock and Roll. Do you love it, Levinson?
Synagogue. You didn't
The
write that because you can't even say the word.
I wrote it. And then also check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Download the Apple Podcast. The Synagogue of Rock and Roll. I say it my way. I say it my way, Levinton. You know why? It's my name, my show, my rules. Until then, everybody, get well, Dr. G. We'll see you soon. Charles, hold on. Corey Levinton, hold on. Wednesday, more Beatle news. Boom.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. With Stephen and all his friends.
Anything to annoy Leviton. The synagogue.
Can I tell you something important? You spelled synagogue wrong.
Did I spell it wrong?
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what? That's Brooklynese. You know what? We'll leave it that way right now. I like it that way. Can't get copyright strikes.
They don't have schools in Brooklyn.
It's the way we do it in Brooklyn. I'm lucky I can spell my own name. Everybody subscribe, hit on something good if it pops up on the screen. If it doesn't, just buy the book, Top 10 Horror List. Other than that, we'll see you Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have to get people to run my show. I can't do it. Never let a dropout spell his own